everyone. In 1993, audiences first met our guest when she played Dana Scully on The X-Files. Since then, she has made appearances in such projects as Bleak House, Great Expectations, The Last King of Scotland, Hannibal and The Fall, as well as appearing on stage as Blanche Dubois in A Streetcar Named Desire. Earlier this year, she returned as Agent Dana Scully and will be next seen in American Gods, based on a book by Neil Gaiman. Ladies and gentlemen, Gillian Anderson.
Which is that this t-shirt that I'm wearing, somebody designed the logo for something called All Heart Gillian. Yes. A bunch of girls, 5 girls in fact, from around the States designed it and encouraged people to go out in their communities and be of service, to volunteer for my birthday. And isn't that sweet?
Very sweet.
And so, usually at the end of panels, I am known to auction my smelly t-shirts. And it's not quite smelly enough yet, but I will be auctioning this one for Child Reach International. And that's all I have to say about it. It'll be at the end of the panel.
No.
Hello?
No. No.
No.
Is the other one okay?
All right, here we go. Hi. Before we talk about the X-Files, when the series ended, you moved to England.
Yes.
Which is where you spent much of your childhood.
Yes.
Were you not getting offers that were interesting to you, and did that lead to you moving back?
No, I decided that I wanted to do a play. The first thing after spending 9 years of my young life working my ass off, I decided that I wanted to do a play. And I'd actually wanted to do a play during the hiatuses that we had, but there was never enough time. And for some reason, I had it in my head that I was going to do it in London. And I guess part of that was that even while we were, I always knew that when I grew up there, and we moved to Grand Rapids, Michigan, we were always going to move back. It was going to be a temporary move, and we never did. So I felt like we never got to go home again. And I knew that as an adult, at some point, I'd make it a part of my life again. And so even while we were filming The X-Files, pretty much every summer I would go back and rent an apartment. And it stayed meaningful and present in my life. And so I knew that at the end of the series, aside from wanting to do something completely different from what I had been doing for 9 years, I knew that I wanted to do a play in London, so that's the first thing that I did. So the show ended, I took myself to Africa for 2 months, and then as you do, and then I started rehearsals on my first play in the UK and ended up moving. I answer, it takes me a long time to answer that. I'm just warning you. You will ask a sentence, a very short sentence.
How did that lead to
back 100?
How did that lead to you then doing a lot of work for the BBC?
Just by being there? Yeah, just by being there. I think the first proper offer that I got when I was there was for Bleak House, I think. I don't know. But I said yes. It was a good thing to say yes to.
You did well.
Thanks.
I think everyone in this room would like to thank you for coming back as Dana Scully this year. It's been 20 years.
I'm not used to being behind a table, I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm used to,
Do you want to stand up?
No, but I just feel weird. So if I look like I feel weird, it's because I do feel weird. That's all I have.
You're doing a good job. It's been 23 years since you first started playing the character. How do you think you've changed as a person during that time affected your performance in the most recent 8 episodes?
This is the answer.
There you go.
I found it. Okay, I'm good now. Sorry, can you repeat that again?
All right, here we go. It's been 23 years since you first played Scully.
Yes.
And most recently you came back to the character. And how do you think the changes you've gone through as a person have informed your return to the character?
Such a difficult question. That's a really difficult question. I'm older. I'm taller.
Well, is there a lot of you in Scully?
I think there's probably more of me in her than I realized when we were doing it. I think I didn't realize until recently, which is kind of sad, but that there's a goofiness to Scully. I mean, obviously. I mean, she's very serious, but she's also goofy. And I haven't played many goofy characters in Scully, and so in my life, I tend to be more goofy than serious. And so, in that respect, I feel like there's more of me in her than, say, Stella Gibson.
Which is an interesting character because it's an investigator like Scully, but
Not.
One of the things that was interesting in this most recent run is that in the original series, Scully was very, at least initially, was very driven, scientific, methodical, and which led to her more often than not, as the series evolved and changed, more the damsel in distress. And then in the latest episodes, I think as it went on, you became a stronger character. But I think in the most recent one, let me say the second part of the question. Let me say the second part of the question. For instance, in this season, with Mulder and Scully being the were monster, without a doubt, was one of the best episodes of the series. But
No, I think you need to back up. I think you got the wrong end of the story. Scully wasn't a damsel in distress.
I think that's the wrong phrasing. That's the wrong phrasing.
Well, phrasing was everything. I'm afraid.
No? Okay.
But yes, I'll give you a break. You did a good job.
Do you think Scully being the stronger of the characters now is a result of the changing times or the evolution of the character? Because I think in the last season, she was a stronger character than Mulder was.
Well, Mulder was out of his mind, so I would hope so. What kept the series interesting, it was important that we keep the same dynamic, which is the believer and the skeptic, in order for it to work. And anytime I tried to veer it away from that just out of sheer boredom, it didn't work. I got a phone call from Mr. Carter to remind me that I was veering off track, which is true. But what then kept it interesting is flip-flopping. Sometimes he was stronger than Scully was, and sometimes Scully was stronger than he was. Like any relationship or intimate relationship. And that keeps the writing interesting. It keeps it interesting for the actors and gives them something to do for 201 episodes. I think maybe she's a bit more with it at this particular time. But if we were to ever do any more of them, I imagine they would change places again.
One of the things that drove the season was the subplot of William. your child, William. Remember him?
Yes, he was a big subplot.
Do you think that not really a character, but a concept, do you think that resonates more now for you? Well, for you and David more because your parents? As opposed to just being this, your parents in real life to children.
What the fuck is the question? What do you say? You're doing a good job, but what the hell are you saying?
Well, I think, do you think that it resonates more for you now because...
Because I am a mother?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I was a mother back then.
No, I know, but now David's a father, and he wasn't...
Well, you gotta ask David. I don't, I'm sorry.
Okay.
We're making it hard for you. I'm really sorry. But yes, I imagine that doing scenes where you are, well, ironically, oh, I can't talk about it here, it's fucking Comic-Con. But, okay, let me back up. I mean, as a parent, issues of, oh yeah, there's kids in here. I'm sorry, I swear a lot.
They took it for borrowing yesterday, they're fine.
Okay, all right, I'm still sorry. I think, the big issue that Scully was dealing with William is abandonment. Is feeling like she abandoned what she did, her son. And I think that first of all, mother's guilt is a really big thing. And it's a big issue, especially with more and more women working in the world and trying to fit as many things into their lives as they rightly want to. And that is a real thing anyway. And then add on top of that actually abandoning your child for somebody else to raise, that must be incredibly painful. So I can imagine that the fact that I am a mother, and understanding what that might be like to do something that extreme. But, yeah, that's all I have to say.
All right, that's fair. The series has had some amazing writers. With the exception of Chris Carter, is there anyone when you get a script and you're just so super excited to read what they've written?
Well, I think we're all quite excited when Darren hands in a script, because he writes a script so infrequently, and his scripts are really light and fun to play. And so much of the show is dark and fun to play, but obviously it's a very different experience in the doing of it, and especially when you have so many episodes that veer on the serious monster of the week or the serious mythology episodes. Having one of the comedic episodes come in is obviously going to be a joy. And Mulder and Scully kind of become different versions of themselves, and it's fun to play those versions because they're so contrary to how they normally are, and we get to properly have fun and make fun of ourselves, which is always a good idea.
Would you be able to compare Scully to Stella Gibson, or do you think they're just so different? That's fair. I mean, it's a great show. Is that coming back? There's one more season?
It is, in the fall.
Brian Fuller also created a brand new character that he played on Hannibal that was not part of the original novels. When he came to the part, were the twists and turns, did you know what was coming with her?
No.
Okay. So what was that like to get the script and realize that everything is...
Well, I mean, I think I knew early on in agreeing to do it that that I needed to play her in a way that anything was possible, because we knew nothing. at the beginning. And I think that worked. I think she got a little bit more emotional than we might have expected of her from the beginning. Once they went to Florence, that's such a funny sentence. Yeah, I mean, at one point, Brian said to me, this has nothing to do with your question, but at one point Brian said to me that that the writers had fun coming up with my dialogue because they gave me the hardest, they literally came up with the hardest versions of sentences they could possibly imagine to see what I would do with them. I mean, there's sometimes when I would read those things and think, are you fucking kidding me? I mean, we already know that people don't talk like that anyway. People don't talk like that. But even Bedelia sometimes didn't even talk like that. All of a sudden she was, I mean, weird shit. Yeah, so that was fun.
And you're reuniting with Brian on American Gods.
Yes.
And the character you play is Media?
Yes, correct.
Can you tell us a little about it?
I thought I just heard my alarm going off. Probably did. Can I tell you a bit about? So, Media is a god, and she shows up as different historical, iconic characters, cultural icons, and so. We know, I have to be careful what I say, we know that she shows up as Lucille Ball.
And we know Marilyn Monroe.
And we know Marilyn Monroe. And the other ones are secret.
Fun playing the character?
I'm gonna say yes. Marilyn was fun.
Okay.
Marilyn was a lot of fun.
So does the character, without, I guess, spoiling anything, does the character inhabit these icons, or you're still the character?
Mixture of both.
Okay.
Mixture of both. I think they each seem to have different percentages of their icon to the ratio of icon to actual media changes per character. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Man, you guys wipe me out with those photo ops. I'm not great. What happens in that room?
The guy yelling.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well there's that. No, honey, that's the least.
Some articles came out this week that there are discussions now for a new season of the X-Files.
There seem to be discussions about it, yes sir. They're due. They're due.
Will you be in it?
I mean, yeah.
Would you like to?
Most likely. Is that a real question?
Grasping at straws.
That's all right. Should we move on to audience questions?
Yeah, I have one last question. I have one last question,
Okay.
then we go to the others. Do you think we'll ever see Mulder and Scully have a happy ending?
I thought you were going to say have sex. Didn't you think he was going to say that? What is a happy ending?
Well,
Tell
you
me
think-
please,
okay.
what is a happy ending?
Fair enough. But at one point they were together. You know, they're obviously great friends.
Do you think they're happy together?
I don't think she's ever been happy with
Well,
anybody.
then there you go.
I think Scully makes him happier than anyone else does.
You think what?
Scully makes him happier than anyone else does.
Well, yeah.
I don't know why I was Skinner. Okay, let's do some audience questions. Woman in blue.
Can you hear me? I'm really bad with
Yes.
microphones. I'm a huge fan, so
Thank
thank
you.
you for being here. I have a question about your characters, Scully, Stella Gibson, and Bedelia. What are your favorite things about playing each of those characters?
Start with something easy. Yeah, thanks. favorite thing is getting to play them all. I mean, I think, having the opportunity to play such different aspects of femaleness. I mean, they're quite different, and it's fun creating characters that are different from each other, and I mean, they're all I mean, Bedelia, may she rest in peace. Was fun because she was so contained, and also, working opposite Maz at the beginning. Well, through all of it, but especially, I mean, the gestation was fun because it was exploration, and it was always, I'd fly out to Toronto for a day or two and knock out a couple episodes, and it was just the two of us sitting across from each other and doing as little as possible, just basically working into each other's eyes. It was just, that was fascinating. And then I guess Scully, what do I enjoy about Scully? I had to find again what was enjoyable about playing her, and I guess part of it is that goofiness, and I think I even brought a little bit more of that back to her in these last episodes, maybe even more so on a regular basis than before, just because I don't have an opportunity to expose that side of myself, or and also it's so much fun, that repartee with Mulder. Us working together is more fun now than it ever has been, and so I think we took full advantage of that. And this is a very long answer. And then Stella is just, it's just fun to be in her skin and in her shoes, and she dresses better than I do, she talks better than I do, her brain is bigger than mine, just all of it. She's a badass, and so that's fun.
Thank you.
Would you want to do a comedy?
Yes. Yes, but nobody really. Oh, well, often when I am offered comedies, it's for the straight man, so to speak.
You were in it was a small film, but Playing by Heart, which I loved.
Yeah, I didn't get to be funny in that. I got to be funny in a film that nobody has seen, called Boogie Woogie, which is a small British film. Was that funny?
Yeah. And Last Love.
Oh yeah, I was a little funny in Last Love, yeah. But most of the time I end up playing the straight woman. But there's more to come.
Oh, yay! Earlier on in the panel, we were talking a lot about Scully's guilt and kind of just like her mother's guilt and things she has to work through. And so I was just wondering, what is your favorite part of being a mother?
Motherhood is hard. I don't know if you know this yet, but it's really hard. But what makes it less hard is that in my experience, I'll talk from my experience, my children are the most important thing to me ever. I mean, hands down, they are the most important thing. And when you have a child, you don't realize how much love you have in you until you have a child, I think. I think no lover, no partner, the minute that child is born, it's a love you've never experienced before. For most people. That was my experience. And so that love can, most of the time, salve all of the stress and the headaches and the lack of sleep and the intensity of what parenthood is about. And I don't pretend for a minute that it's, I am fortunate in my life to be able to afford help. I have a nanny, and I'm still fucking exhausted. I spent 25 days straight with my kids and a nanny, and I was jello by the end of it. It's hard. And also to do the right thing, and to not end up yelling the whole time and nagging and, and so, did any of that have anything to do with your question?
Thank you so much.
But you do it, one does it because your love is so great, and there's nothing bigger or more important than that. And did that answer your question?
Yes, thank
Okay.
you.
We have a question from one of our hearing impaired students here.
I have two questions. Do you want to learn sign language?
Oh, I thought about that before. A friend of mine just wrote a book. What's it called? Wonderstruck. And Todd Haynes has directed it. And there are a lot of deaf actors. And so he learns to sign. And he no longer talks without signing anymore, even if you are not hearing impaired. And every time I talk to him, I think, I need to learn how to sign. And also, I co-write a series of science fiction books, and the main character, Caitlin, has a son called Jacob, who is deaf. And soon there'll be an announcement that the book is going to be made into a TV series. So maybe because of that, at some point, I'll learn how to sign. My kids know the alphabet. That's something.
And, oh, that's great. That's great. And my second question. What makes you, lose control, get wild? What does that for you?
You're fantastic. You are so fantastic. You're so brave. What makes me lose control? Music, I guess. Music is a big part of my life. I was at Glastonbury this year. Do you guys know what Glastonbury is?
No, I don't know what that is.
Okay. Oh, right. Oh, it's a music concert in England, and lots of bands play, and it was great. I guess maybe dancing. Not that I dance very much, but were I to dance, I would lose control. She's got so much to say.
Did you have fun on the rides, and did you enjoy the rides and everything there?
There aren't any rides. It's just music. But I was just at Disneyland. And I enjoyed those rides. It's just music. Yeah. Can you ask her if she dances?
Me? Yeah, I do. A little bit.
Good. It's important.
I like to dance.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I had a question about, I read an article somewhere, I think, about last summer when you guys were filming the X-Files revival. David, I don't know if you remember this, but...
I won't.
Okay. David pulled some kind of prank on you with a neck brace.
Oh, yes. I remember that. Of course I remember that.
Okay, I was hoping you could just tell us the story.
I can tell you the story. So, so actually, in the scene, there's a scene that Mulder and Scully have outside, a very serious scene, where Mulder and Scully are outside of the hospital. I can't remember what episode or...
Founders Mutation.
Maybe. They were but arriving at the hospital, Scully's always driving for some reason, because I'm a better driver, most of the time. But on this particular day, when I was backing up the Ford product placement vehicle, I backed into a pole. Hard. David was the passenger, and he was very sweet about it. Didn't make fun of me much, and unfortunately they weren't rolling because that would have been really nice. But yeah, so I totaled the back of that car, and the next day, on the way to work, I noticed that my neck and my shoulders were seizing up. And hadn't even occurred to me that it might be an issue. But I had whiplash. And then all of a sudden I thought, but David, I have to David has whiplash too. So I get to work and he hasn't arrived yet, and then I'm on set before he is, and I'm at my chair, and then all of a sudden I realize that he's walked in the door, and he's over there by the monitors, and he's setting his stuff up, and he's talking to the director, and and as I'm walking towards him, I realize that he's got a neck brace. He's standing sideways, so he's going he's standing. And so I'm walking towards him. I'm going, oh! And I get about a foot away from him, and he can't do it anymore. He can't hold it. And it was really funny. It was so funny. I think I went down on my knees laughing so hard. I couldn't believe the shock of it, first of all, and then how good the prank was. And he borrowed it from the prop. They'd found it in the prop department, or they ordered it or something from Amazon overnight. I don't know how they got it, but it worked. It was good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Late in the run of the original series, I'm pretty sure production moved from Vancouver to LA, and I'm wondering how that changed the experience of the show for you.
For some reason, we started to have more days off in the first season than we'd had in 5 years of shooting in Vancouver, which meant 3, you know. It meant a lot more travel, because locations are further away. It meant that, you know, we had to fly in fake snow, as opposed to shovel away existing snow because we were doing an episode in Puerto Rico. We often had to shoot out the palm trees, you know, find some angle that didn't have a fucking palm tree in it, so that we could, you know. And use different filters because it was sunny all the time. It was 3 times more expensive, but because Canada gives tax breaks, which for some very strange reason California doesn't. What else? I bought a horse.
Thank you.
Sure.
This will be the last question.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, earlier tonight, doing a good job, guys. He asked you, talked about how much of you goes into Scully. And I was wondering the opposite, the reverse. How much of Scully in your other roles over the years do you find yourself morphing into? I mean, do you channel these characters in your everyday life? Do you find
No, I
yourself
mean,
thinking that way?
I think a little bit. I think that Scully made me stronger as a young woman. I mean, I grew up on television, really, and I think that she made me a better person. You know. I think Stella has definitely contributed to my sense of my own femininity, and an embracing of my sexuality, whatever that is, but also an embracing of my I'm weird. And she's a bit weird. And I think I've embraced my weirdness because of Stella. And interestingly, or not, playing Blanche, on the one hand, I feel like I would leave her at the theater, but I didn't. And I'm a little loopy, and yeah, everything goes just a little bit sideways when I'm doing Blanche. I don't think Bedelia really. I don't know, but yes, yes, they do. It does go the other way.
Is it the length of the time though? I mean, you spent a lot longer on Scully. Did that imprint more on you? Did you absorb?
I don't know. I don't think,
Or is it
not necessarily. Not necessarily, I think. It's just maybe what, at least with Stella and Scully, what I've needed to embrace at the time, with that part of my journey as a human being on this planet.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you. So this T-shirt, smellier. Are you guys interested in, shall I auction? Yeah. I'll start at $50, if that's all right. Yeah? Is there anybody who would be interested in buying this T-shirt for $50?
50?
Okay, should we go to 75? Would you prefer that I go up in 25s or 50s? 25. 75? 75, 100? 100, 125? 125? 150? 150? 150? 175? 175? 200? $200. $200. 225. 225. 250. 250. Yeah. 250. 275. 275. 300? 300? 325? I know the pressure's on. 325, a smelly, all-heart Gillian t-shirt, one of a kind, won't be reprinted, won't be worn by me again. 325. 350, what? See, that's what we're looking for. 500.
525?
How about we go up in 50s, just in case there's somebody else who wants to do 550? 550, or does he have it for 500? 550.
600.
Is that you bidding?
No.
Anybody for 600? 600, she came back in the game. 650. I'm sorry. 650. 650. Sir? 700? Ma'am, 700? Is it going to 650? Is it going to 650?
Is that 7?
Is it going to 650? 700. Remember, I sign it. You come back. I give you a hug. We have a chat. 750. 800.
What is the money for?
The money's for Child Reach International, which is an organization that helps. Okay, so they have a campaign called Taught Not Trafficked, which helps to keep girls in Nepal in school because it is determined that they are 70% less likely to be trafficked for sex if they are in school. There is a website and for Child Reach International and for Taught Not Trafficked for the campaign. And I've been working with them for some time and raising money. But ultimately it's about ending sex trafficking globally. Thank you for asking. $750 for Child Reach International.
Yes.
800? 800. 850. 850. 900. 900. 850's oh, way in the back. An anonymous person. 900 in the back. What? 1,000. 1,000. I seem to think that could hear better. $1,000 from the back. Oh, you didn't know it was for charity? Oh, yes, I should have made that clear from the beginning. I'm so sorry. Yes, it's for charity. $1,000. Anybody want to go above $1,000? 1,050. 1,100? $1,100. 1,150? I mean, I can't just stop. 1150? 1150? 1150 it's going. Here it goes. It's going. 1150. You guys are awesome. No! You're stopping at what? You're stopping at 1,200 is what we're stopping at, right? Because you said yes to 1150, right? Is that, oh God, I've lost it. You said yes to 1150. Are you bidding 1,200?
Turn the microphone so we can hear if you're at one of the serious bidders.
Yeah? Are you going for 1,200 or not so much? 1,200. 1,250. You done? Do you guys want to fight it out of the back? Okay, you're saying you're done. You're done? She's done. You're done? I'm just checking. You're done? Okay, she's done. 1,250, it's yours. Thank you. Thank you. That's awesome.
I'd like to thank Gillian Anderson for the part.